Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 37. All right, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome
Jake,
back, buddy.
what's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. I've an interesting. I've been waiting to get on here with these shows with you because there's just so much I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, this was a doozy of an episode, a great one. I can't wait for you to check out the next one as well because it's getting really, really great. And I was actually having a discussion with Christina, who, of course, Lewis, one of our co-hosts' wife, and also a guest on Watching the Throne on the previous season, of course, recently. And we were talking about, and she was reminding me a lot of the things that are about to occur in the
Er,
next. And like I said, I have never rewatched this show, so there's a lot of things I didn't even remember or I had forgotten. And when she reminded me about certain things, I was like, oh yeah, and then this happened. Like there, like again, like the places these characters end up and the directions that they go at the end of every season, like it's never the same for a lot of these guys, right? Like it's never honestly, they're not very stationary throughout the series whatsoever, these characters. When you think like, hey, this character is going to be in King's Landing all the for the rest of the series, that may not be the case, right? So like it's very interesting what starts to go on, honestly. Like I can't wait.
Unless they're in jail.
Yeah. But yeah, you're here to talk about season 4, episode 7 here today, Mockingbird. And I do want to quickly mention that if all goes to plan, we are actually going to be having a guest on for the next couple of episodes. So, and for sure, the next episode, which was the episode that he had requested that he join us for. So, our buddy Kyle is a Game of Thrones super fan, probably the biggest fan of the show that I know, honestly.
Forgot his episodes.
Yeah, well, he did tell me episode 9, and it turns out it is episode 8. So I'm gonna confirm that with him to see if it is indeed the next episode he will be on with us. But stay tuned. If it's not next one, it'll be probably the last 2 of the season. Regardless, he should be coming on shortly, guys. So definitely make sure to check out those episodes when they do drop. Just wanted to I know we've been teasing an upcoming guest for a while now. And then I think from what I understand, I think in going into season 5, I think Christina is going to be joining us back for another couple of episodes as well. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. We'll see who else we can kind of get on here as these seasons go on. I think our other co-host Leslie, I think, had mentioned an episode that she wanted to join us for. I believe that's also in season 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the
So
finale or something.
yeah, it's close to if it's not the
Yeah.
finale, I think it's close to the finale. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. We'll let you guys know as those episodes come up. And me and Jay keep kind of recording these every week. We're kind of getting into a good pace of putting these out here. So make sure to tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. That's normally the day we drop them. You can always just follow us on Instagram at Late Night Chat Network to stay up to date with all that stuff as well. Anyways, Jay, what did you think about this episode, Mockingbird, episode 7? What did you think about this one?
Well, there's another one of those. It seems like every first episode that we watch of something of one of these that we record, like when we do a double recording or whatever, guys. I seem to the first one I tend to watch is something that sets me up for the next one so I haven't had a chance to skip ahead yet and watch the next one, but um, yeah, feels like I feel like it's setting me up for a bunch of stuff that's gonna happen in the next episode, and I almost feel like um I want to say it, but I don't want to jinx it. But I almost feel like it's gonna be like a quick end to a character that might already just only have made an appearance on this show, and I don't know because it just seems that way in my head from some of the stuff that happened and took place in this one. So I think Nico knows where I'm going with that because he's kind of smiling over there. But yeah, I'm starting to see stuff that's why people get really upset with this fucking show, and but why they keep watching it as well, because then they have to throw something exciting at the.
Bro, Why would that be the case? Oberyn Martell, played by Pedro Pascal, is one of the biggest characters out of this series, right? He's our next guest, Kyle's, as he had mentioned to me, one of his, if not his favorite character, one of his favorite characters.
I know. I just feel like they're gonna rip it out of my heart, man, because he's got to fucking fight, man. So I just don't know.
Stay tuned. Stay
I
tuned.
know. I haven't gotten that far ahead, so it's
That
freaking me
that
out.
being
But that
said,
goes. You want me to tell you?
this is a great episode. No, I can guess. I think you know what happens already, but like you're gonna have to stay tuned for that
How
discussion.
long? Yeah, how long that episode's gonna
Yeah,
take
you
place?
may want to
Could be
watch
the
it
end of the
after.
year.
You may want to go watch it after we talk about this one. This is a doozy of an episode, though. I thought this was a really great episode. Honestly, probably my favorite episode of the season so far. This episode, this was a really great one. Some big things happen in this, and like Jay just mentioned, some big setups for the next episode as well.
It's bad too because I gotta stay off this, my Google feed because I've been searching a lot of stuff with
Spoilers are gonna pop up. You got to
yeah,
be
yeah,
careful.
all of a sudden I'm getting spoilers from like 10 years ago,
Well,
right?
the show came
Like
out
videos,
a
yeah, I
long time ago,
know.
right? So it's like, anyways, for anybody who hasn't tuned in before, make sure you're subscribed, guys. And this is the show where we kind of do the discussion, deep dive discussion and breakdown of the episode, give you our reviews and thoughts on it. Jay, this is his first time watching Game of Thrones after getting into it after watching House of the Dragon, the first season that came out. And maybe we'll be talking about that one day as well. And once we get to that point, anyways, we run out of Game of Thrones episodes. We're chugging along here, and this is my first rewatch of the show, so a lot of these things I forgot are becoming surprises again to me. So it's kind of been a fun watch for me as well. And it's been nice to kind of rediscuss it with people that were fans of the show as well to get their thoughts on things, right? So
Or some people that are turning into fans.
yeah,
Sorry.
that too. I know I know you you have a friend there, a friend of the show there who is also watching it for the first time as a result of maybe us talking about it lately. So yeah, that was exciting to hear, right? So
Yeah, that was cool.
it's a great show. I mean, it's interesting too because it's fun because we've been rewatching these episodes again. Lately I've been seeing things and people keep popping up in other shows that I watch that are actually from there.
Don't even get me started
I've
with
yet to
that.
watch that. I've yet to watch it. I believe you've been watching it. I've yet to watch the show yet. I've been saving
Yes.
it for it to finish. But I believe the Khaleesi here is on the new Secret Invasion show that the Marvel has been putting out, if I'm not mistaken. I heard that she is a character on that show. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I just can't recognize it.
that might be a spoiler, but apparently she is, I think, on that show from what I understand. So like, I'm
I've
not
watched the whole season, so I don't know. I can't picture. I'm not
Amelia
picturing which one.
Amelia Clark. I think she's on that show, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I'll double check. But I mean, she might look different. Remember, like you said, this was a few years back
Well,
too,
she's
right?
not a
Like,
blonde. She's not a blonde. It's a wig, right? So it's
so who
you
the
know,
fuck could she be? No, it's funny because I just seen uh Sean Bean in the fucking in another show that on there. He was in there's
he
a
is.
series
She is. She's on it.
called The Cube. Yeah, eh?
Yeah,
I
she's
gotta
on
double
it.
check afterwards and see which one
If
she's
you watched
which
it, it's not
character
going
she
to
is.
spoil anything for you, but apparently she is a character
No,
in Secret Invasion. So there you go. So there's something to look forward to. But yeah,
but
without
yeah.
further ado, we should get into this because I thought this was an excellent episode. Unless there's anything else you wanted to mention. You said you had something you wanted to bring up. Is that in the
Well,
discussion?
that
Oh,
was just seeing like it was funny that you brought this her up in that because the I seen Sean Bean in another show called Accused. I guess that's a show that uh he plays a drag queen, but like
okay.
a teacher by day, like a male teacher by day, and a drag queen at night in England. But I thought you get canceled for that kind of stuff, but apparently, as long as your head's cut off in an episode, they can reinvent you as another character. I don't know, but no, he looked really good in high heels, and I couldn't believe I was looking at Ned Stark, to be honest with you. But
There
it
you
was a great episode. They were reenacting like a Hamlet thing, so
go. Okay, interesting. Well, there you go. Shout out to Sean B. Who
yeah.
guys, if you ever had the chance, I mentioned this before, go on YouTube and just put Sean Bean dying. There's he's one of these guys that dies in a lot of things that he's in, like movies that he's been in. So somebody put together like a bunch of clips of him dying in like a shitload of movies and TV shows. Of course, famously he was in Lord of the Rings as well and died in that. So I mean, it's quite interesting.
Sorry that you said that because now that I just checked who she is in it now, because I see her black hair, dark hair. Yeah, I know exactly what it is. She's the main character. Yeah,
Her hair color, though, I believe. I think she just the
yeah,
blonde wig for this show, right? Anyways,
yeah.
all right, so let's
Sorry.
get into it here. Mockingbird. So, guys, stay tuned. We also have some great quotable moments between me and Jay. We've introduced that segment to the show as well. Let me know what you think about that.
That's,
We're not going to be featuring that, I think, with our next guest, just because it takes a while to get through everything with another person on here. So
yeah.
we might drop that when it's three of us as
Or
well.
well, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll just bust out the lines right in front of him. He'll be like, "What the fuck are these guys doing?" How about that, guys?
We'll see what
I
happens.
think people are liking us do these lines reenact.
Oh yeah, some of you heard
Yeah.
some feedback about that.
Yeah, I heard some feedback, so it's funny because just reading it back, hearing us reenact it, it's kind of cool. So
Fun. All right, so in his cell, Tyrion and Jaime discuss Tyrion's fate and the irony of Lord Tywin striking down both his heirs if Jaime were to die being Tyrion's champion. Jaime declines to be Tyrion's champion as he cannot fight well enough with his left hand. Tyrion then requests Jaime to bring him Bronn, hoping the sellsword will stand for him just as he did at the Eyrie.
yeah,
Great.
I had a feeling about that he was going to say that he
Yeah.
was going to ask for Braun,
Yeah. Great scene
right?
though between brothers. Like this was a nice brotherly moment between the two. You can tell there's a lot of love between there too. Those two. And,
They're being cocky too with each other. They were really,
well,
throwing that
they know
one
each
hit
other's
set.
humor. They have a dark
Yeah,
sense of humor, obviously, with the upbringing that they've shared as a result, right? So, like,
yeah,
I also liked, if you noticed, they had Tyrion, like in the scene, he was sitting up on like a ledge in the dungeon. So Jamie is able to kind of crouch and they're kind of both eye level in that scene. Like they're both kind of sitting beside each
I
other.
noticed that. Yeah,
It's not like he's looking down at him, right? I kind of like that. I like it because if from a perspective a point of view for the characters, it's like, they're on the same level. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's looking down on him kind of thing because there's a lot of scenes where you'll see with Tyrion, which I'm sure they do purposely, where they kind of pan the camera out and they show obviously people kind of like, you know what I mean, that are like of
taller
his
than him.
stature, being looking down on him almost, or like kind of like, there's so many things that they have to do, obviously, with the camera and to show you how he kind of sees the world, being that he's a little person, right? So I just thought that was interesting in this scene that they're kind of sharing a moment, but they're both kind of on the same level with one another. And
It is crazy how a camera view can do that.
of course, look at fucking Tom Cruise. The guy's 5 foot nothing. The guys look like he was like, but that's what I mean. But that's with stars, especially in Hollywood, there's been a lot of times where they've had to do trickery with the camera. There's a lot of
Yeah,
famous actors that are very short, right? We just don't see it on the screen. And then if you see the guy in real life, you're like, wow, that guy's short, right? Mark Wahlberg. There's a lot of them that are really short, and they work around
stand
it.
out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, they still
Uh,
stand out, right?
yeah,
Regardless. But no, that was why that angle would be a good angle too, is because they were both in that position at one point, really, I think. And it's so that they can kind of see now they're kind of almost eye to eye, really, when it comes to the what's going on out there. And he's in, like I think he's the only one that really understands Tyrion, sorry. And they understand each other the most. I think they get along the best out
yeah,
of all of them.
yeah.
Besides, the sister thing.
Yeah, which he kind of brings up still to him. He doesn't approve of it, but
He kind of throws that in there, eh? Like a
yeah,
little
yeah.
jab. He starts, he
We'll get
says,
to
"What
a
you
quote later on where he brings it up, or in a moment here. But
the
it was
golden son."
it was really I do like this relationship. We didn't really get much of this because he was taken away from us, Jamie, in the first couple of seasons because he was on the road. So we didn't really get him and Tyrion being together throughout all this. So like to
You know,
actually have people that are related to one another actually together instead of like the Starks all over the fucking world right now, right? So like it's nice to see that, to get that from somebody on this show, right? Because everyone else seems to be abandoned from the people that they know, right? But then you get interesting other pairings in the midst of all this. We got the pairing between Podrick and Brienne going on now, and you also got
Yeah.
the pairing of the Hound and Arya, right, which has also been a fun pairing. So there's been some interesting
And
pairings.
Sansa and Baelish too, right? Like
Sansa and Baelish, yeah, exactly. So like if you look at it, there's been some interesting pairing offs that weren't in the first season, but now in the fourth season that we're getting, right? So it's kind of
yeah,
interesting, right? It's kind of
pretty
interesting
neat.
seeing things develop, right? All right, so here's a scene for you guys. Jay, do you want to be Jamie or Tyrion in
Oh,
this?
let me get this one ready. I didn't have that one ready. I had the other one up.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Da-da-da. Yeah, yeah. Do I want to be who?
Jamie or Tyrion? J or T?
I'll be Jay. I guess you could be T.
All right,
We'll let you be the little one.
go ahead.
You threw your life away? It's not a joke. You understand that, don't you?
Of course it's a joke, just not a very funny one. I couldn't listen to her standing there telling her lies. I couldn't do it.
You fell in love with a whore.
Sorry, for a bit of context too. This is when Jamie's speaking to him in his cell. I should have set this up. And he's basically letting him know here about the mistake that he made while he was on trial, letting them basically make him forcing him to basically make this decision that he wanted someone to fight for him as a result of not wanting to be sent to the wall, right? So yeah, this is
Yeah,
Jamie kind of said to give him shit because he's like, yeah, I did this, I set this up for you, and you fucking just threw it away, right? So, anyways,
basically.
yeah. Yes. And I was stupid enough to think that she had fallen in love with me. That deal you made, it was everything father wanted. You do see that. He gets you back as his heir, the future Lord of the Rock, and ships me off to Castle Black out of sight at last. All so perfect. It felt good to take that from him. He knows I'm innocent and he's willing to sacrifice me anyway.
He's willing to sacrifice any of us.
Oh, nice, Jay. Nice delivery there. Not you. You're the golden son. You could kill a king, lose a hand, fuck your own sister. You'll always be the golden son.
Careful, I'm your last friend you got.
Yeah, there's that sister thing you threw in there.
Yeah.
At least I got to tell them what they really are.
Yeah. Yes, brilliant speech. My training,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, my training has proved that I can't beat a stable boy with my left hand.
Where's your sense of adventure? Even if you lose, imagine the look on father's face when you fall. Our family name snuffed out with a single swing of the sword.
Yeah. Is it more?
Yeah, last line you got.
Oh, it's tempting.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Great exchange between the
Sorry.
two, honestly. Great scene to open it up with. And then right from this scene, honestly, it's a nice transition from cutting from this all the way to seeing the fucking mountains impaling somebody in the next scene because, as we learn here, the mountain, by the way, whose name is Gregor Clegane, who's known by most as the Mountain, is mercilessly killing prisoners with a great sword. Cersei approaches him and thanks him for his haste in returning to King's Landing as her champion for the trial by combat. Gregor asks who he will be fighting. Cersei asks if it matters, and he shakes his head no. So yeah, whoever's gonna end up fighting for our friend Tyrion here has his work cut out for him with this fucking beast of a man. It's crazy.
Well, did you just see him? He was just going through people like it was nothing. Like it was
Nothing.
just,
Like bread through butter.
oh,
Yeah.
and I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
What's she gonna do to her brother? Like he's
That's
only 3 feet tall.
the fact that she literally tracked this guy back down to bring him there so she can whoever had to face off against. Like, you know what I mean? She really has it out for
She's
Tyrion.
evil. She's
She is.
evil.
She's an evil, like,
Big time.
I don't throw this word around, but cunt, honestly, she's a fucking evil bitch, this one.
I will throw it around. Cunt.
Yeah. For this one, for sure. I save it for people that deserve it. Then we got the next scene here. You got Arya and Sandor, who is the Hound, of course, brother to Gregor there. So you got Sandor Clegane and Gregor. But the Hound encounter a dying man in a ransacked village. Sandor gives the man a gift of mercy by stabbing him in the heart. He's ambushed by a man who bites him in the neck. He snaps his neck and drops him dead in the dirt. A man named Rorge encounters them, and after a short conversation in which he reveals that Joffrey is dead, which Arya is able to cross off her death list as a result, Arya kills him with a quick thrust of needle to his heart, earning some approval from the Hound. This is a good scene. I like this because once again, it kind of gets you wondering whether or not the Hound, his methods are good or not, because he kind of helps this man put him out of his misery in his final moments, which I think is a good thing, quite honestly, for someone to do, right? You don't want the guy suffering on the side of the road there, but the way the Hound operates isn't like everybody, right? But I do like that she also asked him what his name was, and he revealed
Before.
his name, and he's like, and then she said, "Oh, thank you," and she snapped, because now I can add you to my list, because he's like, is this prick on your list? Because she makes the point of saying that this guy threatened her previously, right? When I think they're in King's Landing or somewhere, and
Yeah.
he said he was gonna, do something to her, and he
It was her and the other guy that she was with there. I
yeah,
think
and
it
I
wasn't her
was
by
like, "Is this
herself.
guy on your list?" And she's like, "No, I don't know his name, or else he would be." And he's like, "What's your name?" And he tells her, and he fucking stabs her. Yeah, she's getting good, man. She's killing a lot of people on the road with the Hound, right? As a muscle, essentially, right?
She's got their she's got a list up already. She's got a count. We should do a body count for her. I think what she got like 3 or 2 now.
Now. I think it's two. Yeah, I think she's killed
Yeah.
two people now. I think the
We should
first
try a
kill.
body count.
I think the first kill was the Hound, and
Yeah.
this is her second one with the Hound now. So I think, yeah, that's her body count now. It's two people. There you go. That's our list, the body count list. There you go. That's two. I think
Go.
it's two people now for Arya. That she's,
Aria's body count.
and the Hound kind of is impressed by her now, like kind of like her methods a little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
he makes fun of her, but then he's like, yeah, he's like,
She's
he
getting
stepped
better.
up, killed her. Yeah, killed him. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
Next scene here. John and his fellow brothers return from Craster's Keep. At first sight of his direwolf ghost, Alistair Thorne sends his beast away outside Castle Black. Afterwards, John tries to convince the Night's Watch to barricade the wall against the imminent wildling invasion by blocking off Castle Black's entry tunnel with ice and rock. He is denied after being reminded of his place in the watch as steward, and the first builder reluctantly agrees with Thorne's assessment that the watch can defend the tunnel. John and Sam sent to serve as sentries on top of the wall until Mance arrives. So again, you know, his Lord Commander there sent him out to Craster's Keep, as we know, um, as an effort, as a last ditch effort to hope that he got killed when he went over there. Like that was his hope, because he hates John and he doesn't let and John has a lot of people that believe in him now, so he doesn't want to lose the vote for the next person that's in command of the Night's Watch.
Night's
Sorry,
Watch.
Castle Black.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he just hates them. He constantly, every scene, I feel like we see this guy now. He's taking something out on him. He's treating him like shit.
Yeah.
He keeps trying to make it so he can make it the most difficult experience for John, right? So he kind of sends him away with Sam, thinking that, okay, I'll show you, right? And I don't know. I feel bad because John has done nothing but has helped out his fellow brothers at Castle Black. Yet this guy hates him, right? Like this.
Yeah, he was just trying to give him a heads up, like he
Yeah.
even asked him, has he seen giants before, man? Like they don't even think they know. Like they just wanted to know if he wanted them to seal stuff up, man. And, just get prepared for this in case they do come, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he got any bad intent, but the other
No.
guy, like you're right, like you said, he just has it out for him. Like I don't see anything but good intent from John so far that I've noticed.
Yeah, I think that's just what bugs this guy. I think he's unimpressed by how he's moved through the ranks or how much he's respected amongst his fellow brothers, right?
Mhm.
I think he just keeps like enjoying knocking him down a peg. You know what I mean? Like he's like, "Oh, I'll fucking show you. I don't like you," right? Like, and he doesn't. I will say
Small
one.
penis syndrome.
Yeah, there's that, but I also think that I will say one thing about John is that he doesn't really take orders well, I think, and I think that's bugging this guy. Like he doesn't. He has done a
Yeah.
lot that he felt was right to do. Like even the Craster's Keep situation, he was told to kind of not get involved in that whole situation, and he was like, "No, fuck this. This is wrong." Right? Like
Yeah.
he knew, like he kind of has his own moral compass about shit, right? And so I think that's what bugs this guy the most is that he's like, "Oh, you think you're fucking hot shit, Jon Snow?" Right? So,
Yeah, well,
uh,
we all see that with these characters. They all have some sort of their own moral compass. It's just they're not working on the same, and they're not facing all north the right way, I guess.
yeah,
You
no,
know
good.
what I mean?
Oh no, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, so now this next scene, Bronn finally ends up visiting Tyrion in in the clothes of a lord. It looks like he's stepped up once again in the world, thanks to Cersei and having him removed from the situation, I guess. and he mentions that he's been basically to wed this lawless Stokeworth again
Yeah.
by Cersei's doing, right? And I guess Tyrion now, in this moment, asks him to fight the Mountain for him, like as he did
Mhm.
previously. He had, helped him out when he was in this exact situation back in the Erie there what's it called? Where her aunt is, Aunt Erin, in the Vale. That's where
In the
it's called.
Vale, yeah. But the funny thing is, like, yeah, it was a little different. He didn't have all these fancy clothes, like he had money or whatever. Like he started acting a little cocky here, and
Mhm.
he was kind of right and he was kind of wrong in the sense. But yeah, like
Once again, I gotta commend Tyrion after he refused him. He never holds it against me. He's like, that makes sense. I understand. Like he's true because like you said, he has money in his pocket. He's about to become a lord. He's like, I'm not in the same need I was previously, like where I had to do that for you, where I was, and
uh,
now look everything you've done for me now. Like, you know what I mean? So like he wasn't he was thanking him in a sense, but he's like, because of the way that I've went about my own situation. Like you said, he doesn't really need it now. Like he doesn't need to
no,
risk his life. And I also like Braun too. He's like, hey, listen, I could win, but why put myself at risk? Like that guy's scary, bro. Like he even said he's like, I could try to tire him out, but have you seen the size of this fucking guy? He's like, yeah,
yeah,
like
seriously.
more than likely I'll get killed. Like he's like, right. So and there's some great quotes here we'll get into here. Another scene between me and Jay here, between Tyrion and Braun, which is always a fun time. I quite like their exchanges always, right? But
They
uh,
are interesting.
yeah, he refuses to fight the Mountain, both for lack of a reward and believing that the Mountain is too dangerous for him to face, and bids farewell to Tyrion, who, while heartbroken by Braun's decision, understands. So yeah, here we go. This is a scene between. You want to play Braun or Tyrion, Jay?
I'll let you stay. I'll let you stay Tyrion. I like it. I like your Tyrion this
He
today.
is my favorite character. So yeah, okay, go ahead. You're Braun. Start us off.
Okay. Why should I risk it?
Because you're my friend.
I, I'm your friend, and when have you ever risked your life for me? Eh? I like you. I like you, pampered little shit that you are. I just like myself more.
Yeah. 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 And it's true. He's like, one of you had the opportunity to step up for me, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I understand.
Uh, I'm sorry it has to be this way.
Why are you sorry? Because you're an evil bastard with no conscience and no heart? That's what I liked about you in the first place.
Shit, I clicked on the wrong thing, and hold on. Uh, we had some good days together.
Yes, we did.
What will you do?
I suppose I'll have to kill the mountain myself. Won't that make for a great song?
I hope I hear them sing it one day.
Yeah. A bittersweet end. A bittersweet end to this scene, but yeah, it's, again, I have no doubt in my mind that he is still his friend in this
Oh
moment.
yeah.
Like he does say that. He's like, he's like, listen, no offense, but I just don't like my chances here. But even like as he says that about hoping to hear his song one day if he doesn't make it out of this situation, like he's got a nice smile on his face as he leaves the dungeon. You know what I mean? Like he's like, yeah, like you're a the good man. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
he's
they still have a good exchange, yeah, as
yeah,
they're as he's leaving. Like, they give each other that look like, "Don't worry, buddy."
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So no,
He's
he
got a
doesn't.
lot more to risk now.
It doesn't. He doesn't hold it against him, right? Like I
No.
do like that. Anyways, next scene here, Daenerys is surprised by Dario in her private chambers. Ooh, she's pissed off at the
Ooh.
intrusion, but agrees to hear his complaints. Dario says that he is only good at two things: killing men and sleeping with women, and that he has no opportunities to pursue either strength. Danny counters that the Second Sons are currently acting as Marines police force and that there are many women in the city who would throw themselves at him. Dario dismisses the Second Son's role as unchallenging and says the only woman he wants isn't interested. He begs Daenerys to send him and the Second Sons to make real war. Danny focuses on Dario's other proclaimed talent and orders him to remove his clothes. So you got a scene where
Yeah.
he hooks up with the Khaleesi, and you get no nudity scene for you, Jay.
That, yeah, that just showed me the type of this is where that character went. It went from taking her clothes off every freaking episode to just not at
Demand.
all to demanding. Yeah, like really,
I
like
mean, it's
you are just a bitch.
the queen. She's a queen in this. She's queen shit in this situation, right? You gotta like the scene though where the man he removes his clothes and she like stares at his cock like because you see the look from her perspective of her looking at it. She's like observing it like a painting or something. You're like, oh, it's like
It
interesting.
might help.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that might help. But
like a woman
yeah,
boner or something, right? Yeah, you gotta enjoy that, Jay. I'm sure you enjoy her giving him the up and down.
yeah, I kind of like the orders. Don't get me wrong. Like I kind of wish somebody would order
Some
that
people
to
like
me.
that. They like the women in a position of power, right?
Yeah, I didn't like principles and stuff. So maybe that's in stuff. I mean, in authority, women in
No,
authority. So
there's
maybe
people
that's
that
why
like
I'd like them to
men.
get me stripping.
There's men that like being dominated by a woman, right? And right, so that's kind of I think what the situation is, right?
Hmm. I
Then
think they're just scared of her.
yeah, really, that
You
too,
know,
right? I mean,
we got dragons, buddy.
they don't want to fuck around, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, like it's funny because like you get like a reverse role Me Too situation here, right? 'Cause she's coming at him from a position of power, right? And then this man, if he really wanted to in today's times, he could be like, hey, listen, this woman raped me.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, guys.
uh, Anyways, Jay, despite not seeing any clothing removed in this scene, the next one, you get a nice Melisandre in the bath scene. Some
It was beautiful.
yeah, I know, I know,
Way to make up for it, Game of Thrones.
right. So in this scene, although I gotta say, other than that, this was a pretty lackluster scene. I didn't quite like this scene. This was kind of pointless. I felt like, other than the nudity.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's what I think they did it for us. You know.
like I know, I listen. I know why they said this. I guess this part is important. I guess, but still not really. Queen Selyse speaks to Melisandre, who's enjoying a bath, to cement Selyse's position as Melisandre's most devoted follower, and of course, Selyse is Robert Baratheon's wife.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, Stannis Baratheon, not Robert
I
Baratheon.
was gonna say it.
The Red Priestess tells her about using potions and illusions and serving the Lord of the Light, and that a bit of pageantry and deception and helping converts to see the truth will be forgiven later on. Selyse asks her if she used the potions when she slept with Stannis, and to which she replies that she did not, basically saying, yeah, listen, no, I'm hot enough. I don't need potions to like lure your husband away. Essentially, that's kind of
Yeah,
what
she's fucking poison ivy over there.
Selyse then remarks on her desire to leave their daughter Shireen behind when they go to the north. But Melisandre is as dismissive about Shireen's heresy as she always is, and assures Selyse that Shireen will be needed where they are going. For whatever reason, this the mother here hates her daughter, the one that's got the grayscale. Like, I guess the fact that she's kind of deformed, she does not enjoy. I don't know, because she seems to really hate this daughter of hers, and they kind of like they leave her hidden away, it seems like, for the most part, right? And then like the only person that she seems to spend the most time with is Davos, right? So like I don't know. I mean, I kind of am starting to feel bad for the daughter. Like the mother,
Well, yeah. I mean, they're treating her word like they would treat Tyrion or something like that.
right?
Like a freak.
But
No,
she
no
actually does have like a dis. I mean,
skin
I guess back
disorder.
then, Tyrion's thing is also a dis. Like they also looked at it that way, I guess, because there was not many little people. No, there still like to this day, but
Yeah,
obviously they're accepted into society now, whereas back then, clearly it's not as
they
common,
weren't.
right? Yeah, exactly. So. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting scene here. This is the following morning, Dario bumps into Ser Jorah.
This
Uh,
is cock.
he
These
also,
are this is like a sword fight here. These two,
yeah,
eh?
he also says that it's a good time to talk to the queen, as she is in a very good mood, implying that he just slept with Daenerys, right? Jorah is not amused, but Daenerys dismisses concerns about her intimate life. she like says like not to worry about it, right? She's like, yeah, whatever. Like, fuck, I need to get banged, whatever. Daenerys tells Jorah that she sent Dario to take the second sons to Yunkai to regain control over the city and kill the masters that have resurfaced. Jorah relates to the mercy shown by Ned Stark for his dealings in slavery and convinces Daenerys to bring the masters to justice without execution. As you know, like from the last episodes where they were talking about this, she's kind of still dealing with the aftermath of having taken over this place. And she wanted to kind of put all those 200 and something whatever masters to the stake, like the kids, like 100.
Across, yeah.
Yeah. And and there's people that were opposed to that. And not only has Sir Barristan kind of told her like maybe you should show some mercy, now Jorah is even saying to her like, listen, I slave traded as well, by the way, like you. And she's like, yeah, but now look at you, you're kind of helping like release slaves. But he's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, if Ned Stark didn't show me mercy, I wouldn't be here today to help you with this, right? Like, so he kind of makes a point. Like, and again, I like how even in season 4, 3 seasons later after Ned Stark died, people still speak about him in you know what I mean, like in a respectful manner. Some of these guys, like he even said, he's like, if it wasn't for him pardoning me, like, you know what I mean, like I wouldn't be here to help you, right? I kind of like that. I like how some people still talk highly of Ned Stark, even to like they haven't forgotten about the character.
No.
So, Daenerys considers for a moment and then tells Jorah to assign Hidzar Zolorak as her ambassador to offer the masters a choice. They can live free in the new world she wants to create, or they can die clinging to their old one. The second sons will be stationed in Yunkai to enforce whichever choice the masters make. She also says to let Dario know that it was Jorah who changed her mind. So she kind of gives Jorah the pleasure of telling him that, okay, yeah, I took your side on this one, even though he bangs me. You know what I mean? Even though he banged me, I'm going to take your side on this one, Jorah. So Jorah's kind of happy.
She's just fucking she's just teasing them both. Like, well, she slept with the other one, but she's just teasing Jorah too, man. She knows it too now.
You know what, though? She still trusts his judgment enough. It's his, I think, interesting. Like, despite everything going on, like, she still will she'll still listen to him now and then.
Yeah, but she still likes to make it seem like it's her idea. And it's to her and him. But then, you know what I mean? To other people, you know what I mean? She might let him sneak by and say, okay, you can rub this one in on that guy.
Here's the thing, and I think we've talked about this before. You're starting to see negative traits about this character, despite all the good that she's doing. Right? She's very bloodthirsty. She has a temper.
But she's manipulative, very manipulative,
and she's very full of herself. Right? And her head keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
She's a fucking messiah almost at this point, right? The way she's being trotted around. No, it's true.
Yeah. So, like, no, I know.
So it's interesting that the seeds that because we definitely where we started off with her, it was like a rags to riches, riches to rags to riches again type story, right? She was considered royalty at one point, then she was considered fucking dog shit. And then she's taken over. She's
reestablished herself,
fucking Dothraki and everything. And she's being given away, and then now she's back in a position where she's on top again, right? Like, and people, believe in her and they follow her, and you know what I mean,
like respecting her, yeah.
So it's interesting. But I think as a result, even though she's being humbled, she seems like she's losing that good sense that she had prior to everything happening, right? Like, I think.
Well, it is getting to her head. I mean, it would get to anybody's head, I think, dude, if you were able to get all those people under your wing.
Absolutely. So it's interesting. It's interesting what's developing with this character. Like, I got to say, it's very, very small things, that we're seeing here and there. Afterward, the Hound clumsily addresses his wounds from the man who bit him on the neck. Arya suggests burning to cauterize his wound, but he refuses due to his fear of fire.
That's so funny.
Yeah, Sandor confirms the story, and he kind of really goes into it here of his facial scars from burns inflicted by Gregor, the Mountain, his wrath, and how his father covered up the truth, making him feel alone. Arya offers to clean and stitch him up, and Sandor allows her to. This is a nice moment. This is a legitimate moment where I feel like you feel sorry for the Hound. Like, this is the first time I feel like you actually feel bad for him. Like the way he kind of tells the story about how his brother picked on him and how he kind of how like he obviously has a lot of trauma as a result of what
Yeah,
happened to him. You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Like, yeah, he carries a lot of trauma in his life.
And
You
then, you actually see him get to a point where he's upset. Like the way he freaked out when she got close with something that was hot. It was almost like he had turned into like a kid again in a sense. You know what I mean? It kind of like reverted to like protecting himself. It's like putting up that wall, right?
yeah,
So I seen that just the way he reacted like that, and then I know then it just threw me off because he used the word like rat cunts or something like that. So it threw me right off, right? But yeah, I got where the story was going with that, right? About his brother burning him, and I was like, "Fuck, that must suck." And smelling your own flesh. And,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, now he's kind of like Frankenstein, right? Like Frankenstein's monster. Like he's I mean Frankenstein's monster there, he was afraid of fire as well, right? And now this man has a burnt fucking face. He kind of looks like a bit of a monster in this world too, right? So it's and look at the size of this guy, right? So it's interesting.
nuts.
Meanwhile, Brienne and Podrick stop at an inn where they are served kidney pie made by none other than Hot Pie, who we haven't seen, I feel like, since like season 2 or I think 2 since Arya left, or maybe 3. I can't remember.
I think it
Uh,
was two. I think if I'm
2, I
not,
think,
yeah,
right?
mistaken. Yeah.
So like that's the last time we saw him. He had said he was going to stay behind, and I think at that time he was going to work with the Men Without no, that was his other buddy. This is the place they stopped before they went to the Man Without Banners
Yes.
group. This was another place, I guess this inn or whatever he said he was going to end up staying at. And he kind of found his calling by making the pies, right? So hence
Yeah.
his name here. So he proceeds to tell them at length the process in finding the right ingredients to his delicious pies. He then asks of Brienne's business, to which she replies that she is in Lady Stark's service to find and protect Sansa Stark. Hot Pie leaves after addressing the Starks as traitors, as to like kind of cover up for the fact that he knew, Arya.
Mm.
And as Brienne and Podrick prepare to leave the inn, Podrick reminds Brienne that telling people of their quest could be dangerous, but Brienne's honesty is swiftly rewarded when Hot Pie approaches and gives them a loaf of bread shaped like a wolf that he tells to give to Arya if they see her, and that he knew Arya because like this was an even better loaf than the first one he gave her when he was kind of just learning to make these loaves, right? He gave her that one when they parted the first time, which I thought was kind of cool looking.
The first one looked like, you didn't even want to eat it, man. This one was a little different. Yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah. He tells him that he knows nothing of Sansa, but has seen her sister Arya alive along with the Hound. Brienne is surprised because Arya has been presumed dead since she disappeared when her father Ned was executed. They deduce that Arya's captor is probably going to try to ransom Arya somewhere. Having memorized, and this is a shout out to Tyrion here, having memorized the complex family trees of the great houses, Podrick guesses that Arya's aunt Lisa Arryn is the Hound's only remaining chance of a reward for her, because he points out like this is the only family member that still has money that's alive out of all the Starks. And therefore Brienne and Podrick decide to head for the Eyrie. So yeah, that was kind of cool because he did mention like, Tyrion made me memorize like all of the houses that were married to one another and that hated one another, right? Like he kind of made it know, like he made him memorize all this shit. So if he ever needed to figure something out about his enemies or who his friends were, he knew all the
Mm.
houses and how they were all associated with people, which if you were a huge fan of Game of Thrones, you can do your homework in that way as well and actually learn all the houses. So I think that's kind of interesting that he took the time to remember all that shit, right? So I thought shout out to Tyrion for teaching him that, right? So
Yeah. Well, I mean that's something that actually is something worth
helpful.
learning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
especially in
Different,
the time that they were in, for fuck's
well,
sakes. Oh
right.
man.
Exactly, especially if you're on the road in different parts of the world and you don't know who your enemies are, right? So I think it's
If you
interesting
can
coming.
recognize the flags and all that kind of stuff, you start to know, right?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I liked his line in this one here where he's like, "You cannot give up on the gravy," where he's telling her about like how important the gravy is in his delicious pie. Oh
Yeah, you
man,
cannot give up on the gravy.
yeah, yeah. So there you
Well,
go.
they had a good, yeah. That was nice that they have a little cut to Brienne and Podrick in this episode, because you want to know what's going on still with them, right?
Mhm.
So,
All right, so let's get to a great scene here coming up.
oh, this is the big one.
Yeah.
This is the giveaway scene, bro. Everybody, I feel, or I might be wrong, but
Oh, I think I removed it from my paper here. Do you have it on your notes, or did I forget to add it?
uh, how to build a replica of Winterfell. No, that's the Hulk.
That's the last scene right there. Hold on.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so I have it here. I have it. I forgot to put it on the paper I sent you, but I have it here.
yeah. I
Okay,
was gonna say I don't see it here. I wrote it down. That's why I said it's a good, crazy
of
scene.
course. Great scene. Okay, so and then we have a quotes
We get
from
to act.
back for you guys again here. Later, Tyrion is approached by Oberyn Martell, who tells Tyrion of his disappointment in their first encounter as children. Oberyn and his sister Elia were told stories of the Lannister monster and his extreme deformities during a childhood visit to Casterly Rock. Cersei showed Tyrion with great ceremony to Oberyn and Elia. Oberyn tells Tyrion that he saw no monster, just a baby. Cersei told Oberyn and his sister that Tyrion killed her mother and then cruelly assaulted Tyrion until Jaime stopped her. Even back then, right? It kind of showed who these people were. That's
Yeah.
why this scene's so important, because he's telling him something he couldn't even have in his memory because he was just a baby at the time. But this is a very important scene because Oberyn, you now can tell why he has disdain for this family. Like he's even telling him, he's like, your family with your sister was horrible even then. Like he's a good judge of character, you know what I mean? To remember something like this and have it inform him like in his actions right now, I thought was really interesting that he remembered all that, right? And that's why
Well, I mean,
yeah, it's
it's a
carried
grudge you're holding, right?
us.
Right. So I mean, that's perfect to hold a grudge against. What do they say? But you keep your enemies close, enemies closer, whatever. Keep your friends closer, your enemies closer.
Yeah. Oberyn says that he and Elia were quite disturbed at Cersei's already strong hatred toward Tyrion, who is disturbed by Cersei's relentless hatred as his eyes tear up hearing the story. Oberyn tells Tyrion that he seeks justice for the death of his sister, and Tyrion replies, "You are in the wrong place if you want justice," right? Oberyn counters that he is in the perfect place. All those he means to bring to justice for his sister's murder are close at hand. Intending to start his revenge with Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, Oberyn offers his service as Tyrion's champion in the coming trial by combat. How much did you love this scene, Jay?
I thought it was great. I thought it was fucking great because you got to see why he's like I had you have this weird feeling because he seems to act so nice to these Lannisters and all that, even though he keeps mentioning this about his sister, is the stuff about his sister. So I didn't know that little beginning storyline, obviously, because they didn't say when they met him when he was little.
Mm.
But yeah, for him, he almost thinks in the same way as like Tyrion would think. I'm thinking would be using his, he's thinking, how does he get back at this family by using them against themselves? You know what I mean? In a sense, I feel.
Yeah, not only that, he actually reveals in this scene that he is smarter than he looks because he brings up the scene that we talked about a couple of episodes ago where Cersei before the trial was going and like trying to convince everybody that Tyrion was a bad person or trying to
Hmm.
get along with them. Remember, she says the thing, "Oh, my daughter, she's all the way like where you live, and like you both share something that we've lost people or whatever." And like he mentions that in this scene, how he's just like, yeah, your sister like really was trying to get me to like not to be on your side before this trial. Like, and to your point, like, yeah, he doesn't show that in those scenes.
To her, no.
Pretends that he somewhat is putting up with these people, even though he hates them. Like, you know what I mean? He
Hmm.
was cordial, like in those scenes with Cersei. But like, yeah, it's interesting that the whole time in his head, he knows where like what she's trying to do. He just doesn't show that he's aware of how fun. She kind of plays into it. He plays it up, right? I
I
kind of
wonder. I
yeah.
always wonder if she thinks because of her daughter, if he's like, your daughter actually has a good choice that she came to where we are because you guys are fucked over here, kind of thing. In his head, I wonder if his character thinks like that because he literally sat there and said, "Oh yeah, really?" He was listening to everything she had to say, and and,
Yes,
and all that, and playing
his
it
own
all up.
judgment call. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
really interesting. Really.
but the lines he used in this scene there, he just made it seem like she's just an evil bitch.
Yeah, and she is. All
Yep.
right, so keeping with it, I'll remain to be Tyrion in this scene, Jay, but you be Oberyn. You got a lot of talking points in this one, so go ahead, man. You're up first.
So it should be interesting, guys. If I think the words are in here that I'm going to think of, I'm going to start laughing halfway through. Oh,
It is, yeah.
you had just been born.
No,
Our uh,
we met you. We met.
where am I?
It's just a little
No,
up. We met you and I.
a little way up. Yeah, we met you and I many years ago. I think you would have remembered that.
Unlikely.
Oh, you had just been born. Our father brought me and my sister Ella, Ellie,
Elia.
Elia, with him on a visit to Casterly Rock. My first time away from Dorne. I didn't like anything about the rock. Not the food, not the weather, not the accents, nothing. But the biggest disappointment, you.
Nice. You and my family have more in common than you might admit.
The whole away from Dorne, all alone, talked about was a monster that had been born to Tywin Lannister. Sorry, a head twice the size of his body, a tail between his legs, claws, one red eye, and the privates of both girl and boy.
That would have made things so much easier.
when we met when we met your sister, she promised she would show us to you, show you to us. Every day we would ask, every day we she would say soon. Then she and your brother took us to your nursery and she unveiled the freak. Your head was a bit large, your arms and legs were a bit small, but no claws, no red eyes, no tail between your legs, just a tiny pink cock. We didn't try to hide it. We didn't try to hide our disappointment. That's not a monster, I told Cersei. That's just a baby. And she said, he killed my mother. And she pinched your little cock so hard I thought she might pull it off. Until your brother made her stop. It doesn't matter, she told us. Everyone says he will die soon. I hope they are right. She should have lived this long. He should have lived not lived this long, sorry.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, sooner or later, Cersei always gets what she wants.
What about what I want? Justice for my sister and her children.
If you want justice, you've come to the wrong place.
I disagree. I come to a perfect place. I want to bring those who have wronged me to justice, and all those who have wronged me are right here. I will begin with Sir Gregory
Clegane.
Craigie, who killed my sister's children, and then raped her with their blood still on his hands before killing her. Two, I will be your champion.
There you go. And there you have it. He is going to be Tyrion's champion in this fight to the death. Trial by combat. All right.
Oh my god. This is why it's scaring me, bro, because I'm starting to like oh, Aubrey. And
Yeah,
fucking next thing you know, he's gotta face the mountain and it's scaring the shit out of me now.
I would be scared. That's for sure. All right, guys. Finally, finally, our last scene of the episode here. And it's a doozy. It's a
It's
doozy.
a
All right.
doozy.
While
It's
wandering
a
the eerie
doozy. I like that one. That was a good word.
While wandering the eerie snow-covered courtyard, Sansa builds a snow replica of Winterfell. Robin shows up and he is impressed with her efforts. The cousins get along until Robin asks where the moon door is. This fucking moon door. Sansa tells him Winterfell doesn't need a moon door. Sansa agrees to add one, but in the process, Robin accidentally knocks over a tower. Robin insists she replicate the tower. This irritates Sansa, and Robin throws a tantrum in response, destroying the replica. Unable to control her anger, Sansa slaps Robin. Sansa immediately tries to apologize, but before she can, Robin threatens to tell his mother and runs away. Peter Baelish witnesses the action and assures Sansa that he will deal with Lysa, whom he says should have disciplined her child long ago. Peter muses on how he should have been Sansa's father, but then tells Sansa that she is more beautiful than her mother, Catelyn, and kisses Sansa, who is so shocked that she doesn't resist. Unknown to the pair, the kiss is seen by Liza, who's like up in the window there. Now, question, Jay, do you think this was a purposeful move on Baelish's part or
Well,
Sansa?
I don't know. I mean, if she knew that if she knew that if he was doing it to help her out because, she might be coming, I don't know. Or like, did he know that he did it on I don't know because
Hard to say, right?
because
More on
even
that later.
Sansa too there asked something up to him too, right? About something that he did about if he had why he'd killed Joffrey, in that part there where it'd be just before they're talking.
Yeah. Well, more on
Yeah.
that. More on that to follow, guys. Stay tuned on that. Later, Sansa is summoned by Lisa, who delights in telling Sansa the gory details about Moondor executions. Lisa then grabs Sansa and threatens to throw her through the opening for kissing Peter. She is stopped when Peter arrives and swears by everything he can think of that he will send Sansa away. Lisa releases Sansa and embraces Peter, who assures Lisa that he only ever loved one woman. And she has like a smile on her face. She's like, your sister. Lisa is only an instant to contemplate this betrayal as Peter shoves her out of the moon door and looks down as she plummets to her death hundreds of feet below. Oh man, through the fucking moon door,
We
guys.
finally get to see it used.
Yeah. No, you did before too.
Oh
They threw
yeah, yeah, they were throwing people out. Yeah, yeah.
right, and she
But
took.
we didn't know what it was. This is on top of this is built on a mountain apparently.
Yes.
So that's why it's so high up, and they
I
don't know
mean,
exactly how high.
the way they kept fucking teasing this moon door, I guess it should come as no surprise that another person flew through it. But yeah, it may have not been the person you expected to, right? But that's pretty fucking crazy. Baelish, obviously, Baelish did not want this marriage. Like he was kind of not about that. But now,
Did
with
you look at her? She looked like the trailer park trash of the ants back then. You know what I mean?
I just like how he kind of took her close, trying to calm her down. And she's like, she's like, I've only loved what
Uh,
Baelish talks with, like the way he talks too. He's like, I've only loved one woman. He's like, your sister. And he like pushes her out the fucking.
yeah, just like nothing, like yeah. Fucking CGI was pretty shit, but yeah, it's all good.
I
That's
like.
why we haven't seen too many dragons yet.
I used to make fun of the way he talked when I used to watch the show the first time around too. I would just he's just such like a creepy like lisp of like Sansa, like the way
He's
like
cocky, yeah.
yeah,
He's
I don't
just
know, like I can't
so
like
full of himself too.
I can't replicate it, but his like voice is creepy, like the way he like talks, like it's like the way
I know,
like
I know what you're saying. I just don't. I don't know what I would
way
call
he
it.
articulates everything is really strange. Like it's like I don't know. It's like a gust of wind is like going through his mouth at all times. It's weird. It's hard to describe. Like it was, he's like
Yeah,
you only
like,
loved one woman. Like it always sounds so.
one woman,
You know
like
the
almost he's got that
I
southern
can't
accent.
I don't know what that fucking thing that he does, but it's and I've seen this guy in other things. This guy is actually on The Wire. Great actor. I don't know the
Mm.
actor's name. He was on The Wire. I think the last 2 seasons of The Wire, he was a politician. And he was a cocksucker, crooked fucking politician on The Wire, too. As soon as I seen him show up on this show, because I've already seen The Wire before this, I'm like, oh, this
Oh,
guy is
80s.
gonna be a bastard. Watch. I knew it right away because I'm like, because he was such a fucking weaselly piece of shit on The Wire too. He's a politician, right? He
Yeah,
ran for mayor on The Wire of Baltimore, and then I think he ends up winning, or he was like he used to like he ends up winning, I think, eventually, but then he has to learn he has to learn to be dirty in politics. So like as the show goes on, at first it seems like this guy really wants to do good and make a change. And by the end of it, you're like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. So like, you know what I mean? Like he's just kind of in the system. This is the same thing. He's just a piece of shit for the kingdom, like back then, the politics back at this time, right? Like, so it's
he's
interesting.
been in quite a few things.
He was also in Batman with Christopher Nolan. I think maybe the third one,
And
the one with
the
Bane.
mayor of Kingstown. That one that
Oh,
just came out.
that's
Yeah, just recently. Yeah, twenty
that.
twenty one. Yeah,
I'm on it. That's the Jeremy Renner show, I think, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think so.
so yeah, there you
But
have it, guys. Season 4, episode 7, Mockingbird of Game of Thrones. That was a great episode. I gotta say, some great moments. Jay, you need to check out this next episode, but he's gonna check it out, guys. We're gonna come back and talk about that one. And hopefully you'll see the trial by combat in that episode. And don't forget, this was the requested episode of our guest, Kyle, who is coming on, Game of Thrones super fan, Jay. If that doesn't hint anything at you, this was the requested episode.
This was the requested episode
from our guest. Well, actually, the requested episode was episode 9, but he told me he wanted to do this episode, episode 8. So, he told me 9. So we'll see. But he should be on with us hopefully next week, guys. Make sure to tune in.
We should be doing this to him.
What's that? Throwing him through the moon door?
That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time, though. Thank you, as always. This is always a lot of fun. Jay, thank you.
Always.
We'll see you guys next time. Later, everyone.
Peace out.